Welcome back to another episode of We Are Liars, a Pretty Little Liars podcast. I'm Liz,
And I'm Michelle.
and we are discussing episode 14 of season 1, titled Careful What You Wish For. Original air date January 24th, 2011, written by Tamar Laddie and directed by Norman Buckley. So the school's dance-a-thon gives the liars more sore feet. Gives the liars more than sore feet. Arya's old babysitter, Simone, comes to visit and has her eyes set on Ezra.
Does she, though? I don't know. I feel like Arya is setting Simone's eyes on Ezra along with Ella.
Right. It was mostly Ella. Ella was like the ringleader of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my little poison tonight is just a little espresso moment to keep the girls awake and dancing for this dance-a-thon. So cheers, enjoy.
Cute.
The girls, it seems as though they have watched and rewatched this video clip of Ian and Allison a couple of times. I can't imagine watching your friend and your brother-in-law on screen multiple times. It must have been a lot for them. But then Ian comes downstairs and he needs to grab a late night snack. And so his face is literally on the computer. It's paused. And the girls are all freaking out. They didn't really do a good job of pretending that there was nothing on the computer screen. They kind of just like froze in their spot and just hoped and prayed he didn't see his face.
Yeah. I mean, but this was done on purpose, obviously, to create the tension. But again, you could have just closed your laptop and it would have been okay.
It would have been fine. He wouldn't have questioned it. Do you think he saw his face?
I don't, but I also obviously think, and as we see, he knows they're up to something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if he didn't see it, he's still very suspicious of the girls.
Yeah.
They feel they should take this video and hand it over to the police the next day. They decide they're going to go on lunch. They're going to give in the video. And when it comes time for them to go to the station, Spencer's laptop has been replaced with a notebook. So they're shit out of luck. And they feel it has to be Ian because he's the only one with Spencer's gym locker combination. She says, I had this strapped to my side all day long. The only time I didn't have it was when I was in gym. And she's like, Ian is the only one who has my combo. So she questions him later on and asks if he saw the laptop. Of course, he says he didn't. Where did she leave it? Trying to like help her out a little bit. And then she mentions that about the dance, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go later. She's like, why are you going? And he says, Melissa's out of town, I'd rather be here than with her and her friends from business school. And then he
Ew.
talks about how this town likes to gossip, and Spencer's like, what are you referencing here? Like, what are you trying to get at? And he's like, I just wish that you would act more like family.
Yeah, this is so weird. Also, like, where the hell are Spencer's parents?
I think they're both lawyers, so I guess they're just busy.
And I guess the barn doesn't have a kitchen situation.
I guess not, because he's always in the main house.
Yeah.
So
It's just weird.
it
Yeah.
is definitely. More on that later. We have to go over to Hanna. So she's hoping and praying that someone will hire her because, as we know, the money that Ashley has stolen is gone. And Sean's mom won't hire her back. And really, no one in town is willing to hire her. It seems as though Ashley owes their favorite boutique a lot of money, which Hannah obviously had no idea. So she's really not in a good frame of mind. She's snippy towards Sean, even though he's annoying, but she's like a little bit snippy towards him. So then she gets a text from A naturally, and it says that basically, I have a job for you if you do what I say. So the same predicament she was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
More on that in a minute. Emily, she's having a tough time. Maya, as we know, is in juvie camp, True North. They won't let her talk to her on the phone. She can only speak to family. So Hannah mentions this new kid in school and that he does some shady shit on the side. So she's like, here, talk to him. He maybe can set you up with, I guess it's a way where he can rig it where it makes it seem like it's Maya's parents calling.
Yeah, I was confused about this because I was like, him like essentially jailbreaking her phone. What how would that make this process easier if they're screening the calls
Yeah,
from Maya?
I don't obviously know pretty much anything about how to do any of that. So I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, for the fantasy, I'll believe whatever he's doing.
Sure.
And he's like so funny about his like side hustle. He's like, don't let anyone see this money. Like, don't talk about it in front. I'm like, you're what people can give people money. Like, nobody knows what you're talking about. He's like so worked up about it that he's like doing illegal shit. It's like, get
Even
over yourself,
outside of
kid.
school, he acts
Yeah,
weird
that's what I'm
about
saying.
it.
Like even on the street when Emily sees him, he's like, "Don't address me. Don't tell anyone what I'm doing. Don't talk about this here. Can we do this somewhere else?" I'm like, "You are sketchy, dude." But that is Caleb Rivers. He has made his first appearance on the show. It is certainly not his last.
Good to know. I'm excited. I
Yes.
like him.
So he's gonna give Emily back her phone at the dance. Aria, good old Aria. She was something else in this episode, but I get
She
it.
was
We'll talk about it.
exactly how a 16-year-old should act in this
Exactly.
scenario.
Exactly. And I felt it was portrayed very real and realistic. And I think Lucy did a great job with what she was given. It just is frustrating as the audience because you're like, well, honestly, Simone and Ezra probably are better off together.
Yeah.
Simone is Arya's old babysitter who doesn't seem like she's obviously that much older than her. Um, my babysitter was like 4 years older than me, I
I
think,
know when you look
or
back,
5 maybe.
they seemed so much older, but really it's like 3 years, if
Right.
that.
It's just that your parents can trust, maybe a 14, 15-year-old with you or a
Right.
16-year-old. So
Yeah.
and it's only for a few hours, right? So she is living in New York and she's now a published author. She is someone that Arya seems to really look up to. We don't really talk about it much, but it's very clear that Arya has a passion for writing, obviously, why she likes Ezra. And they talk about Arya writing things when she was in Iceland. And so maybe, I don't remember, but maybe we'll get more with that later on with Arya and the writing. Truly do not remember. So Simone is there. She's presenting to some of the classes, I guess, about her experience since she is a Rosewood alum. And then Ella has the brilliant idea of potentially setting her up with Ezra. And so Ezra takes a look at Simone's writing. He's very impressed. Arya makes this surprise visit to go see him for coffee. And he's like, well, actually, Simone and I are getting coffee in like a half hour, so I can't really tell your mom that I'm not available. It's going to be suspicious. And Arya is so incredibly jealous. So jealous.
We talked about this during our Zoom chat as we were watching that Ella's a teacher. We thought she was just a proctor. What is she teaching?
I, you know what? I think she might be a history teacher.
Oh, okay.
I think we get her, she definitely is teaching in next week's episode. I want to say she's a history teacher. Don't quote me on that. But
That's
as
fine.
a viewer, I literally forgot that that's what she does as her career because we talk about how she goes and does some time at the art gallery.
Right.
So
Yeah.
to me, I couldn't remember that she actually was a teacher. And then I thought, okay, she's proctoring. I think I remember a little bit later on that she does do some teaching, but I didn't realize that she was originally a teacher. I thought she kind of just like decided to go back to school and become a teacher and like work in the school with her kids kind of thing. But I guess she's just a teacher at Rosewood.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then off topic from this, but is Byron's side piece on the island?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Meredith.
Yes. Thank you.
No, she's not on the island. All right. So as I said, there is a dance-a-thon happening on top of everything else that these girls have to worry about. So Simone decides she's actually going to attend the dance-a-thon because she wants to spend a little bit more time with Ezra. This, of course, pisses Arya off. Simone can sense that something is up with her, but Arya doesn't really give in too much until she's about to pop and Spencer and her see Ezra and Simone talking across the dance room, like across the floor. And Arya, the scene was very over the top, and Arya's like, I'm going over there. So she goes over there, and to distract, Spencer says, Mr. Fitz, can you dance with me? And now I was like, okay,
But
this is so cringe.
yeah, but then she goes, "It's okay, it's allowed."
She goes, it's okay, it's allowed. I know, I heard that.
So those rules, you can dance with teachers during this dance-a-thon. I very much like Spencer in this episode. I mean, I always enjoy Spencer,
Yeah,
but I thought she did a really good job taking care of her friends, and she definitely saved Arya's ass in this scenario. But the
she did.
whole, can we dance? I was like, ooh, but then this is allowed, and I was like, ooh, but
I know. I'm like, they had to add that this is allowed. Now,
yeah,
if I was Ezra, I feel like why would my girlfriend, right, friend interrupt this? Like, would they? I feel like if I was him, I'd be like, did she tell anyone about us? Because this seems like a little
weird,
random that Spencer would want to dance with me.
right? Or it could just be Arya's friend maybe has a crush on me, and I just
Right.
have to play it
That's true.
cool
Because she
here.
has told him in the past, oh, my friends think you're cute.
Yeah,
So maybe, and Simone says, "Oh, it looks like someone has a crush on their English, English teacher."
yeah,
So maybe it's that. Ella sees that Arya is upset. She thinks she's upset because Simone is like moving on, but
I
she's
know.
really upset, obviously, because of Ezra. And she tells her, "Oh, one day you'll understand what it's like to be a single woman and you'll want to find someone special." She's like patting her on the head, like, "You're young. You don't understand that." And Arya, of course, in her mind is probably like, "No, you don't understand my
Well,
love for
clearly,
Ezra."
yeah, because she's like, you don't know how hard it is to meet a nice guy. Arya's
It
like,
is hard.
that is my guy.
She's like, "But that one's mine,
I
though."
get it, mom.
It's so hard. It's so hard. And Simone is probably, much younger than us currently. And it just gets harder and harder. Anyway, so Ella's someone special, aka Byron, is at the dance trying to get back into Ella's good graces, obviously. And uh I just really dislike him. That's no new news here, but he tries to slow dance with her. They do, but then he tries to go a little bit further. I should take you and the kids out for pizza with Simone, like old times. And Ella's like, no, I don't really want to complicate this situation anymore. So I'm not going to do that. So I was like, good for you, Ella. Good for
Yeah.
you. Because really, Byron just so rubs me the wrong way because he acts like his attitude's like, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying to have everyone forget the past, and it's not that easy, buddy.
It's not easy whatsoever. And if Arya's not careful, her situation could end up very much like this one.
Yeah.
So at the end of the night, Arya is upset with the Simone Ezra situation. And this entire scene, I feel like, was perfection in the way a high school girl would be portrayed. She's young, she's desperate. And I've said these words, like self-deprecating things to hope that your partner will be like, "You're not that. I love you." And of course, prime example here, the manipulation of her using that. He's like, "No, I love you though." Which normally, let's be clear, that doesn't usually it's not usually how it goes.
I know.
When I've used that, it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those years ago. But this manipulation, and obviously it's not intentional, but Arya's like, you should be with Simone. She's your age. You guys look great. You guys look like a couple. And he's like, no, I love you.
Gross.
But they can't even kiss because it's in the school parking lot and people could see.
I hated this so
Yeah, I
much.
hated this. I hated this. As we usually do.
No, I know. Ew.
Who else we hate is Ian. He is a chaperone at the dance, and before it starts, he puts his briefcase in his desk, which he locks. He puts the keys in his pocket of his jacket pocket, which Mike is like, why would he put it in the jacket? Why wouldn't you put it in the pants? The
Right.
jacket you're checking, so not smart. But they feel though, if even if Ian had erased the video on Spencer's laptop. It's still obviously suspicious. Like, if she didn't have the proof, they should still go to the police anyway because they saw it. They can't deny that they saw it. And it's even worse if Ian were to have erased it. So Spencer does get the keys. They do this whole finagling situation. And while she's in there snooping, Caleb comes in and he questions what she's up to. And she's like, please close the door. And he's like, no, 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 I'm not leaving. And she basically is like, I'll pay you if you stay quiet. Emily calls Maya from her new jailbroken phone, which Hanna is super pissed because Caleb has overcharged her for the rush delivery.
Yeah.
And it seems as though when she's speaking to Maya, that Maya is a little bit distant. She's different in a way, and Emily thinks that this is it. There must be over. It's the end. And to deal with her woes, she decides she's going to take Hannah's very full flask of whatever alcohol was in there that she brought for some extra party fun, and she's going to drink the whole thing. So she goes up to Ian in this whole drunken stupor, which I thought was very comical. I thought Shay did a very good job at
I
acting
agree.
drunk here.
Yes, I agree.
Her in the tassels of the I was
Oh my God.
cracking up.
It was
She was
so
very
funny.
it was very comedic. Very good comedic timing here. So she goes up to Ian and she's like, I know what you did. And she walks away. And then Ian like grabs Spencer. He's like, what's she talking about? And so Spencer has to lie and say that she told them, well, it's not a lie, because she did tell them all that she did kiss him. And he threatens her and he's like, if someone else were to find out, they could get hurt.
Yeah, I mean,
So
listen, if I was Ian, I'd probably do the same thing. The
I wouldn't
walls are
want that getting
closing
out.
in. Yeah, the walls are closing in, and there's a lot to lose here.
A lot. A lot is at stake. Finally, at the dance, she goes up to Caleb and she scolds him for overcharging Emily, which I thought was so funny. And this whole scene was kind of like, first of all, you don't know me.
Yeah.
Second of all, you don't know me. And of course, she gets a text to go dance with Lucas for $200. So she forces Lucas to dance. They dance for 5 songs per Sean. These guys have danced for 5 songs. And the more she dances with him, the more A increases the price. So like the last one would be $500 and then the last one's $1,000. And so she keeps dancing with Lucas. And obviously this is pissing off Sean so much because it's the same scenario we had when they were at homecoming, where she keeps leaving him and getting distracted. And of course it's with Lucas, and he really obviously doesn't like Lucas. And so she tells Sean like she can't stop dancing with Lucas. Like, I can't stop. And so he ends it. He's like, I can't deal with this anymore. And as she's dancing with Lucas, she's crying. She's like slow dancing and like literally crying. And Lucas is like, this is the best day of my
I
life.
know. Lucas is like, yes, I'm finally
Oh,
in.
yeah.
I've won. But like, also poor Lucas for
So bad.
being on the receiving end of this.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I feel like if she would have just told the girls what was going on,
I
she would feel,
know.
obviously, they probably would have talked her out of it, because they do talk about, isn't a scene this episode? There's a scene in in next week's episode where Spencer talks about like not letting, if you let a bully you, like basically you have to stand up to a bully is the premise, and that's in
Yeah.
next week's episode. But I feel like if she were to tell the girls, I don't know if they would just be like, we'll find another way for you to get money somehow. But she doesn't, and so she has to hold on to the secret. And yeah, Lucas gets really hopeful about this whole thing, and even so much he wants to drive her home. I don't know, maybe he's like hoping for, he's like, I know you and Sean are no longer, can I take you home? Like, stepping right in, no
Yeah. Way to move in
wait no
super
time.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it because at that point, Emily, as we know, she's drunk, but she tells Hannah, like, you're just as bad as Allie. Allie did the same thing to me, and you're leading Lucas on. And Hannah's like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm really shitty. She feels terrible. And so she and Spencer take Emily back to Spencer's, because there's no way Emily could go back to the Fields house with Pam there. And so they lay her in bed. It's super cute. And they do apologize to each other, but Hannah's like, I know I was shitty. I'm just as bad as Allison. You're right. So Emily's sleeping, and Hannah and Spencer are downstairs, and under a stack of magazines is Spencer's laptop, which Spencer knows wasn't there because she looked around the whole house and she feels as though Ian left after her, so he had to have put it back there. And the video of course is gone. Either A or Ian has deleted it. And now in return is a picture from A of the night Allie went missing in Spencer's backyard with Allie in her yellow t-shirt, her yellow top, and behind her is a shadow. And Hannah's like, "There's a shadow. Spencer, do you know who that is?"
Yeah, that made me
Spencer
laugh.
said no, but obviously she's appearing to know who it is.
Yeah, but just the way that was delivered
Yeah,
made
it
me laugh.
was. Yeah, it also made me laugh. And then our last scene is Ella working the coat check, and she gives A back the black jacket and gloves, and she's like, "I hope you had a good night."
Yeah, I love
Her
the way they
smiling
did this.
face.
This was really good. But also to mention the fact that Hannah did all this and ended up with the cash in her coat pocket,
Yes, right. She
which
she ended up getting. I don't know if that's all the money.
I
No,
know
because I think Ashley. I think in next week's episode, Ashley says something about like it was like 30 grand or 20 grand or something like that
that she got back.
that she stole.
Right. So how
So I don't know how much. I don't think that Hannah got back all of that.
no, but Hannah got back X amount of dances she
Some,
did.
yeah,
But the fact that it was in her coat pocket.
yeah.
And
It
then
was like
again,
wrapped in her scarf.
yeah, which is wild. And then again, it's like just tell the girls why you did it. Here's the cash to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I think, and again, this would negate everything, but continuing forward, these girls should really back everything up. If they get a picture, if they get a video,
Yeah.
download it, get a copy, back it up. Every one of you should back it up. There should be 5 copies going around.
You're absolutely right. Like every single person should get a copy. It should be hard for A to get rid of
Yeah,
this evidence.
right.
And Ian's even says to her, "Did you back up your files?" And Spencer's like, "Yeah,"
Hmm.
but obviously not well enough, unless
Right.
she was lying. Like, "Oh yeah, no, I have it."
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a message from the We Are Liars A this week. And the header was Your Lying Faces. And I'm like having a Ross Rachel moment where they put YOUR lying faces, not YOU apostrophe RE. If you're gonna troll us, I'm gonna troll you. um, so they say, don't try and play innocent girls. We all know that you lie more than you can breathe.
Oh,
And
it's
this
like,
came in at 1:15 on Thursday.
okay,
1:15 a.m.
so we're like Allie. We lie more than we breathe.
Right, exactly.
Got it. Cool.
Interesting. You still didn't prove that you weren't Mike, though, so we're just
No.
going to keep going with that you're Mike.
Yeah.
Unless you prove us otherwise. Are you trying to throw me off with your grammatical errors here, Mike? Or are you just rushing to get this email in at 1 o'clock in the morning? Well, whatever time it is for you. I could do the math, but I'm not going to. But we're going to break and I'm going to give you the rosewood chop. Okay, so this week's Rosewood Shop is Ben and Jerry's Strawberry Jammin'. Sweet cream ice cream with pie crust pieces, white fudge bits, and strawberry jam swirls. With the dance-a-thon hitting Rosewood this week, the music wasn't the only thing that was jammin' in this episode. The liars were in a jam, whether or not they should post about the video to the police. Sorry. The liars were in a jam on whether or not they should show the video to the police, Emily being unable to talk to Maya and resorting with the help from Hanna to modifying her phone to get through to Maya. Hannah's worst of all had to choose between keeping her relationship with her boring, wet noodle male version of Lindsay, boyfriend Sean, or get more of her mother's stolen money back. With Arya's I'm also having like COVID brain. With Arya's successful old babysitter visiting Rosewood, she tries to unknowingly put a wedge between Arya and Ezra. And finally, the pie crust represents Emily in this episode as she was a little crusty towards Hannah and Ian after she had a few too many sips from Hannah's flask.
Ooh, I want that ice cream. I love
Me too.
strawberry.
Love strawberry.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Hope you enjoyed your break. We are back with some trivia. So when Lucas asks Hannah if he can take her home, she calls him Ian by mistake.
She
Didn't even pick up
does?
on that. Didn't even pick up on it.
And I watch with captions. I did
Same.
not
Didn't
see
even
that.
pick up on it. They mentioned the OC in this episode in which which Lucy Hale, Ashley Benson, and Janelle Parrish all appear in, which was cute.
Yeah.
Mike says in the books, Maya never gets sent away. Instead, it's Emily. Her parents are both homophobic. The mom is also a racist in the books because Emily is white. And at a swim meet where flyers are being handed out of Maya and Emily kissing, and Emily's parents telling her she either has to be enrolled in reform school or go live with conservative live. Oh God, or go live with conservative relatives in Iowa. She chooses the reform school and leaves, and Maya never leaves in the books.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have not looked at the comments, but the TikTok you posted of where is Maya, where is this actress? I see it getting a lot of comments. Is there anything you want to share?
People were talking about future things with Maya, so I was hoping that you were
I did
not.
not, I
Okay.
promise you. I don't click on any of our like if I make a We Are Liars reel, I don't actually respond to the comments unless I can preview and be like, yes, to
Yeah.
unless you want to save it. I was just curious.
She's hanging with A, wasting more of my time on this ridiculous show. Yeah, people are funny. This one did get a lot of comments,
Mm-hmm.
but you might not want to go on there if you are a newbie.
Okay. All right. That answers my
Don't
question.
look in the comments. Okay, so I just wanted to shout out Brock Breedman, who sent us an email about Emily and Maya and playing footsie under the table. They stated that it must have been hard for Maya to have gotten her buckled shoes off, and they just thought that it was strange and funny that wouldn't it be difficult for her to get it back on. Honestly, I don't think we thought anything of this. Didn't think anything of it.
Nope.
So good pickup, I guess. I didn't even pay attention to what shoes the girls were wearing. So that's how much I pay attention. Okay. So Will asks, does Hannah's cash storyline give us a clue as to who A is? Who would want to help her? I think it's just a torment, though.
Yeah, I don't really look at this as helping
Right, because
because
they stole it in the first place.
right, right, exactly. So no, and all no, I don't think it leads us anywhere, and I also think it's torment, like you said.
Yeah. Was Spencer the one following Allison in the video? I'm sorry, in the post.
Ooh, I see. I can see what you mean there because Spencer acted like she knew who the shadow was. I like that.
Well, who do you think it is if it's not Spencer?
I don't know. My first thought was Ian because she could recognize the shadow because she's been with him and now is on to him.
Right.
But I like the idea that it could be her. I'm
Mm-hmm.
into that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Britt asks, do you think Arya gets better grades from Ezra, or she's such a good writer that she gets good grades anyway?
Ew. Gross all around. Um, Listen, I would like to think he doesn't influence his grades because he's doing her, but it probably does. It probably does.
It probably does. I mean, wouldn't you be like, hey, give me a better grade on this?
Right.
I don't even think that that's a question in the show. Like, I don't even think we talk about, like, you could see it happening where, like, you gave me a C. Don't you think
Yeah.
I deserve an A? I don't even think that happens. So
Yeah.
that I remember. What was a slow song that you remember dancing to in middle school or high school? Brits was a moment like this by Kelly Clarkson.
Aw. So sweet. I hated slow dances and
Yeah.
I never partake, took
Partook in.
part,
Took
partook
part.
it.
Took part.
Oh my gosh.
Took part.
Took part in any of them in middle school or high school,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh, it's hard to say. I remember the one of the biggest songs I feel like of my childhood and even gotten older was Casey and JoJo All My Life. Like everyone
Classic.
played that song. I feel like boys in middle school dedicated that song to me. Like it was just, and it was like multiple boys. It would be like sixth grade, the boy dedicated to me. Seventh grade, the boy dedicated to me. I'm like, pick a new song, but so sweet. Thank you so much.
Remember that boy you dated who gave you those dirty stuffed animals?
Yeah, R.I.P. He actually died.
Oh my God.
I don't mean to laugh.
I did not know
I'm not
that.
laughing about that, honestly. Yes, but they were like carnival stuffed animals that were his brothers that were dirty and used, and he would bring them into school for me in the sixth grade, which was really sweet.
I
So
just
thank
remember
you.
your mom hated those stuffed animals.
Because they were dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was
Mm-hmm.
like, thanks, and like open the trash. Yeah. Thanks, Mom, for
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Mike says, how did Ian not see himself on Spencer's laptop?
Well,
He
he
might
wasn't,
have. He
he
might
might
have not.
have, but he also, the way they showed it, he was close to seeing what could be, but also it very well could be played that he didn't actually see.
Yeah.
But Ian would probably want to see, like out of his peripheral or fake that he can't see what's going on.
hmm Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How would Ian put his keys in his jacket pocket, then check his coat? Yeah. I know. We talked about this, Mike, because it just wouldn't. And then after all, to be honest, she goes, none of the keys worked. Well, then did he put that one single key in his pocket and then put the other keys in the coat?
And also, didn't Caleb ask her if she wanted him to pick the lock?
Right. I guess because she doesn't want him to be involved.
Involved? Yeah, that makes sense.
But it would have been like, hey, I will give you money if you pick this lock for me. They've
Exactly.
done shade if they're doing shady shit to begin with, you might as well just like add another layer to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever snuck a flask in somewhere?
No.
No, I've never owned a flask. I don't think I've ever even taken a swig out of someone's flask. No.
Mm, no.
If I'm gonna go somewhere drunk, then I'll pregame. I mean, like I do that. It's been like 20 years, but then I go pregame and then go there, or I would just get a cocktail at the bar.
Same.
No flasks. Is Arya's old babysitter going to still be in town? Will she continue to go after Ezra? Do you think she'll find out about him and Ezra?
I think she's going to stick around unless you tell me she's on the island.
Let me confirm that because I don't remember. She's on the island. So Wiki says.
So she was put into this episode to create a divide between her and Ezra, and then for Ezra to be like, "No, I love you."
I guess so. Yeah. Wouldn't you say that's what the device was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this actress, she's been in a lot of things. And I was watching it. I remember watching it for the first time and feeling like she looks a lot like Allie. I'm like, is she like this distant relative or something? But no, she's on the island.
Ooh.
So that's it for Simone. Vic says, have you ever went to a dance-a-thon?
No, I haven't.
I only did one. And my dance studio at the time, it was like very soon after 9/11, and we did like a charity to raise money, and it was like we kind of danced the whole night and people like donated. That's the only thing I can think of. There was never any like school ones like that.
No.
Have you ever called someone while drunk?
Yes. But it's always Krista.
Right. It's not like an embarrassing, you're not
No,
embarrassing
no. And
yourself.
usually I'm the one who's like FaceTiming.
Oh,
Like
she's a FaceTime
persistent,
drunk.
but only to Krista. Like I never think to message or text or call anybody except for my best friend. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
even in the back in the day, drunk and like being in fights or not, liking a boy or whatever, I never did. And if I did, I was like, I am the best drunk texter. I am the
Right?
best.
Oh, same.
I was like, I got this with my periods and my capital letters and my correct grammar.
Yeah.
Just being honest. If I did it, you wouldn't know that I was drunk.
Right.
Who will we see Caleb interact with the most? Vic thinks Hanna.
Yeah, I think Hannah as well.
Yeah.
I hope.
Oh, you hope?
I do.
Why?
Because there's nobody to root for. He's a cutie.
He's a cutie.
Let's get this.
He is a cutie. Yeah. Did you have a cringe scene?
I'm trying
There's
to
like nothing that like
remember.
particularly stood out at me, but I just like laughed a lot with like the Caleb, don't let's not talk here stuff. I was
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah, but nothing really cringy in this
no,
episode.
that's good. It's good to know. It may be like the last scene with Hannah, like, Spencer, do you know who that is? And like the way she looked at her.
Yeah, it's just funny.
What about a quote?
Yeah, I love Caleb and what he said. No, you don't know the first thing about you.
Oh, yes. That's great. That's a
Yeah.
great line. He's very well, he's very mature so far that we can tell. So yeah, we'll get more of Caleb and you'll see what's going on with him. I actually have another quote by Caleb. I threw him some extra ringtones on the house because
Ringtones.
that just sent me back into a place of happiness where I could like download ringtones for my
Oh my
phone.
gosh.
I mean,
Everybody
you
has
still
their
can, but
own.
like at that point, you
Yeah.
had whatever you wanted.
Yeah, and everybody had their own ringtone. Like I assigned certain. Now I hate the sound of a phone ringing.
Yeah.
Try to avoid that.
Yeah. What about an MVP?
My MVP was Spencer. I
Yeah.
love how she took care of Emily in this episode. Yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed Spencer in this episode.
I we had votes for Spencer and Kayla, but I actually picked Emily.
Okay, I
I
loved
felt
Emily
like
too.
I really liked her. She was very like a go-getter in this episode with, making sure she can call Maya. And then she's sticking up, even though she was drunk, she's sticking up to Ian. And I feel like, and in next week's episode, I really am like, wow, she's shining because she's being more assertive, which we haven't seen from her yet. What about a shittiest? I really struggled.
Ian, just because he's Ian, but I don't really like no one stood out actually to me.
I picked Hannah. We did get the most votes for Hannah because of the Lucas situation. While I understand, obviously, I don't want to give it to her. I don't want to give it to anyone. But like everyone's like trying to manipulate a situation so that it's better for them,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously
That's
that's
true.
everyday life. But
Yeah, yeah, that's
with
true.
Hannah, I was very upset with her. It's definitely the
Mm-hmm.
shittiest thing she's done thus far on the show.
Yeah,
All right, time for a Betty of the week. This week I have chosen Lisa. If you listen
Lisa.
to Talk in Texas Forever, you already know about Lisa, but she has been actively sending her emails again. She was making us laugh over there, and I just wanted to shout her out and say thank you so much for your continued support. You are such a great addition, and we love getting to hear from you and getting to know you. So continue with those emails.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, so what do we do as an emoji? I had like all over the place options. I had a shadow, I had a laptop, I had a briefcase, and I had a key.
I had a dance emoji and a phone.
A phone?
So, yeah, because Caleb hooked up,
Oh, I see,
like
I see.
fixed Emily's phone or whatever. So, I
Which
like the
dance
key,
emoji though?
just
Did you
the dancer, the
the
red dress.
70s? Oh, that girl. Because there's also like a 70s guy,
Yeah,
the
no, not
disco guy.
disco.
So we
Yeah.
do a key?
Yeah, let's do the key.
Okay, so put that key in a Discord DM, in a email, in an Apple Podcast review, possibly. Like these girls are the key to my heart each week, and I can't wait to listen to them every Wednesday.
Cute.
That's as simple as that. I just gave you that. You literally verbatim could take what I just said, put it in an Apple Podcast review if you haven't already. We would really appreciate it. Again, if you haven't left us a review and you are liking the show, we would super appreciate that Apple Podcast review. It helps the show out so much. And that way we can get all these PLL fans together in the world and we're one big happy family. All right, so it's time for the title for episode 15. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The title is If at First You Don't Succeed, Lie, Lie Again. And My Secret to Be Revealed. The girls find the store that carried the Allie and Jenna friendship bracelets, and they go searching for who bought them. I could have given you other things, but like, I didn't. I thought that one was good. I was like, oh, that was like a little mysterious. Her face is telling me no, guys. Her face is telling me no.
Okay, cool. That's exciting. I just assumed Allie bought them.
But what about the fake Allie bracelet? Remember, there's two.
Yeah. So the girls find where. Okay, yeah. Sorry,
I know.
I have brain fog, folks. Just transparency. I have COVID currently, and it's like the brain fog is real. So they find out who bought the bracelet, or just where they were purchased from.
Where they were purchased. They're looking to see if they can figure out who's the one who bought the bracelet. That way, if
Yeah.
they hopefully will figure out who A is.
Yeah, but they don't find out who purchased.
Maybe they do.
Right. I don't know why I asked you that. That's such a direct question with a direct answer.
I was like, well, maybe.
Okay. I'm excited for that. I don't know who they're gonna find out. Like I can't really predict who bought the bracelet. Like, of course, again, my first guess is Ian. Because
So do you think that Ian is A?
I don't, but he is involved. Clearly.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to, I truly believe he's trying to cover his tracks because it looks suspicious that he was with her and there's this video of them together. But I think it comes to a point where he's going to be like, I was with her and we were involved, but then I left her and I don't know what happened next. I think that's where this is going.
Right. It's like each piece is like, I did see her, but then she left. And I did see her and then she left. So like we had that with Toby and possibly now with Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens next week.
Or maybe Jenna, the bracelet.
Right, because they do find one for Jenna.
Right. I mean, Jenna could have bought these bracelets.
She could have.
To kind of protect Tobifer. Because she somehow knew Tobifer's sweater was involved. I don't know. It's a work in progress, folks.
Yeah. And
I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
Each week we'll get a little bit more. And you'll see what happens in episode 15. And we'll be back next week. Have a wonderful week. And thank you so very much for listening.